Let's go to Elizabeth in Austin. What's up, Elizabeth?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Hanging in there.
Oh, no. What's going on?
Well, okay, so I have a 10-month-old son. I'm 34 years old, and I had dated his father for 4 months, and he revealed to me after that time that he did 2 years in prison for physically assaulting his ex-girlfriend, and I was starting to notice he was being verbally abusive and starting to throw things, so I found out I was pregnant unexpectedly, and I started to feel unsafe. So I tried to figure out how to get out of it. So I ended up telling him that I lost the baby.
Oh. And so now
Yeah.
now that baby's 10 months old, huh?
Yeah.
Ooh. So how can I help?
I'm basically just like wondering why I keep thinking about it pretty much on a daily basis. And I'm also worried about when my son gets older, what is he gonna, when he asks me, where's my dad at? I don't know what to tell him because I don't want to lie to him.
Yeah. So number one, okay, I'm just gonna say all the things out at the same time. Is that okay?
Sure.
As the father of a child,
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine feeling like my child and my safety were so much so that I had to be on the run. So every moment you open your eyes, because your body's on the run, you're on the run, okay? You're hiding from someone that you're scared of. And you're hiding from someone that you are now linked to forever. And, and the safety of your kid. So that's number one. Also, as the father of 2 little kids, the thought that someone would hide a child from me, I can't, that creates a rage. It creates such an anger in me that it's almost overwhelming, right? So my first thought is like, what do you mean you didn't tell him? Like, he doesn't know he's got a kid, right? And I'm balancing that with, yeah, you weren't in that room, John. And so I want to trust you, Elizabeth, that you're not safe and that you weren't safe, okay? And
it wasn't only that. There was other things as well,
Like what?
He lived 2.5 hours away from me, and he fell asleep at the wheel at least twice that I know of because we had a major argument the night that I ended up, wanting to break up with him. And he had texted me about an hour and a half later after we had the argument and was like, oh, I fell asleep again and went into a ditch.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I couldn't imagine him driving my baby in the car and then falling asleep because he had at least done it twice as far as I know.
So 100% I understand what you're saying. Okay. Like I'm not shaming a mom keeping her baby safe. And it's his baby too.
Right. I understand that.
So it's a mess. It's just a mess is what it is. It's just an absolute mess. And then the third thing here to just lob on top of all this is your instinct is correct. With the internet, there is no such thing as a kid who doesn't find out.
Yeah.
That happens sooner or later. And if you're a parent who doesn't tell the truth to him, not only does he find out who his dad is, he also finds out mom tells lies.
Right.
And then he begins to wonder, does mom love me? Because she said that a lot. And does mom believe this? And does mom do right? So it undermines the sidewalk with which he will walk on your son.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, have you checked into the legality of it? I know it's state to state. States are different. Some states, it's illegal to do what you're doing. Other states, it's like a gray area. It's only illegal if he wants into the baby's life and you prevent it. But if you told him that the baby's not around, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Here's what I would do if I were you. I would reach out to an attorney. Mm-hmm. And say, here's what I've done. Here's why I did it. I need some guidance because right now you are flying blind and that's keeping you up and that's stressing you out. And that stress is being absorbed by that little 10-month-old.
Mm-hmm.
that true? Is that right?
I mean, I guess.
What's the possibility that you call this guy and say, "Hey, I lied to you. You've got a 10-month-old son. I want you to sign full custody over to me. We're not getting back together. I don't want you to be a part of this baby's life. You have no interest in being." Like, would he say, "Okay, that sounds great," or would he start weeping and say, "I can't believe I have a son. I'm moving in"?
I have no idea because he already moved on. He's got a girlfriend and she's got 2 kids.
Okay. Well, then it may be she fights for custody, right? So who knows what kind of mess this is going to turn into. What you need is some security, and you don't have that right now because you took off. And I'm not blaming you for taking off, okay? That's a whole other, like, we're just dealing with where we are right now. Your body's in fight or flight because you were literally on the run. And until you get some stability, you know where you sit legally, you know where you sit when it comes to rights and responsibilities, when you know what you have to do and what versus what you don't have to do. Until you do that, your body's going to be running, is just revving and revving and revving and revving.
Mm-hmm.
And you know as well as I do, this is a time bomb. There's a reckoning at some point. Anytime there's a reckoning coming, I like to just go get it done. With a team, with a gang.
Right.
And what I say by reckoning, there will come a time when you have to face this man and tell him that you hid his child from him.
I mean, I didn't want to do that. I had to think about it for at least a week because, I mean, I knew it's not what I wanted to do.
I know that. Don't hear me shaming you, okay? I'm not trying to pile on, okay?
I mean, his reaction was, "Hey, let's either give up the baby for adoption or get an abortion." I didn't want to do that. I wanted to keep my baby.
That's right. And I 100% applaud you. So the chances of him giving the baby up, signing it away, maybe 99, right? And maybe he gets a letter from an attorney that says you are the parent of such and such, and we are requesting full custody, et cetera. Maybe great.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe signs that thing, and then you exhale.
Right.
And then you tell that baby when he's older, your daddy wasn't well. And your son will have to live with the fact that his dad didn't want anything to do with his life.
Right.
So there's gonna be hell to pay down the road anyway. What we don't want this baby to know is dad left me and mom lied to me the whole time. Or dad so badly wanted to be in my life and mom hid him from me. And a 7-year-old, a 14-year-old, an 18-year-old isn't going to understand, hey, mom found out dad was a violent criminal and he was starting to show signs of those tendencies around me and I was pregnant with you. And so I got us out of there to keep us safe. That's something maybe a 21-year-old, 25-year-old. You see what I'm saying? So the conversation's coming. I'd much rather you have an attorney, have all of the answers that you need, have all the things lined up and all the paths forward, and you not live in fear of this day coming whenever it's going to come.
Right.
You will just sleep so much better. Even if you get answers that you don't like, even if the attorney says, "I'm so sorry, but you got to call that guy within 24 hours.
Yeah.
At least you'll have some next steps. Because right now, you're not sleeping, are you?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm sleeping because I moved. So
yeah,
I
I'm saying it more metaphorical, but yes, yeah, I'm sleeping just fine, like a baby. And hey, maybe that's the case. Maybe that's the case. Maybe you're like, no, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. I did the right thing. I'm never going to feel a second of bad about it. I did what was right. But you wouldn't be calling me.
I mean, I feel like I did what I had to do to keep my son safe, but it's not ultimately what I wanted. I would have liked to stay with him if he hadn't been violent,
Absolutely.
He hadn't been yelling at me all the time.
Yes, and you're going to have to grieve that, right? Because the dream we have is to have kids and have this little home and the picket fence and the dog and the camping trips. Like, that picture's not going to happen here.
Right.
And so there will come a moment when we have to grieve that. That comes after you're safe. And right now you're still not registering as safe.
Mm-hmm.
You're on the run. So will you reach out to an attorney?
Yeah, I will.
Okay. Let's call a local family attorney and say, I need to set up a consultation and just sit down and do not, please don't go in there and not tell the whole truth. Tell everything that happened, all of the truth. Don't hide anything. Don't put anything in a drawer. Like, this is everything. Husband's not safe. He was passing out behind the wheel. He was raising his voice. He was throwing us around. He was pushing, whatever was going on. Tell the truth. And then they'll walk you through what comes next. I'm sorry. I hate this for you. I hate this for that little baby. I even hate it for dad. I hate it for everybody. It's a mess. It's a mess. But the day of that conversation will come. So let's have that conversation on your terms with all the facts and data that you have and somebody like an attorney on your side whenever it all comes down.